I've been sitting here for like the last 7 hours or so just trying to come up with a good video topic, and I can't think of anything that I'm super passionate about, and it's starting to piss me off. Box art! Hello?
Hi! Word on the street is that you're talking about box art now. It's funny because I already talked about box art, and so did some guy named Jacob. So I don't want to point fingers or anything here. I just wanted to call because I need to tell you one specific thing.
Okay.
Just have fun with it.
Okay!
Video game box art is probably one of my favorite things to look at and analyze. I mean, seriously, some of this stuff is just freaking beautiful. I can remember countless trips on the way home from the Walmart or one of the game stores where I'd be sitting in the back seat just craving a chance to play the game I just got. The worst part about it was having to wait like 15 whole minutes before I could play it. Oh my god, the agony. Box art along with the logo is one of many key elements in marketing a game. It's the thing that your customers primarily see whenever they are in the store looking for something new to check out. It's their little window into the video game's world before they buy it, so it better be banging. I've been wanting to make a video on box art for quite a while now because there's just so many great pieces of cover art out there, and it's usually like one of the first things that pops into my mind whenever I think about a game. Breath of the Wild, Link standing on a cliff staring at Hyrule's impending doom. NBA Jam, a basketball's bursting through the seams of the box telling you how ready he is for you to fondle him. Kingdom Hearts 3, Sora and his friends are standing on a tower trying to figure out what the hell's going on in this series anymore.
So with all that being said, you probably thought this was going to be a video where I talk about good video game box art, but no, we're going to be talking about the stinky boys of the gaming industry. Things like Ninja Golf. My god, that game is so bad. No, I actually want to be talking about games that people actually remember and know something about, because I don't just want to talk about stuff that looks like a 7-year-old drew it.
Mega Man is one of gaming's greatest icons. The dude has had over 30 years of lovable games, got a spot in Super Smash Bros., and holds a crown for what is possibly the worst box art of all time. I mean, what even? I know this box art's been talked about to death, so I'm not gonna harp on it too much, but in a video about video game box art, I have to at least mention it because I need you to understand that this is not okay. Mega Man box art during the NES era is by far the best example of how not to sell your product in any industry. But I mean, come on, like this is just too easy. I need something challenging to talk about for this video. Oh, what you are staring at is the European box art for Mega Man 2, one of the greatest sequels in video game history, yet they decided to market it with a guy who looks like he's about one fart away from ruining his shorts. I have so many questions. Why do we have these extended drop shadows coming from 2 different directions? What is this cat thing? He ain't in the game. Is that even Wily's castle? I don't know. What's this? Who are you? It looks like a B-grade, mid-80s action movie poster that some kid made in college during his spare time but never actually meant to show anyone. This looks like it belongs in that one episode of SpongeBob where they go to the future and everything's chrome and weird and Squidward is spazzing out uncontrollably, and I feel like I'm right there with him because they use 3 gradients for one logo. They use 3 gradients! And they also must have been extremely worried that you're not gonna buy their game because they made sure that you knew this game had state-of-the-art high-resolution graphics. To be fair, this isn't the only time they talked about how beautiful their video games were on the box, but I think it looks pretty stupid. I guess they were more interested in preying on the blissful ignorance of parents who didn't know anything about video games because they also told you that Capcom is the premier worldwide arcade game designer. Nice. So the Castlevania series has been home to some pretty good looking box art throughout the years. Now usually all of them have great composition, they follow the laws of color theory, and they manage to keep the viewer's interest. I can't say that there's any that I've outright hated, but then there's this dumpster fire. Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow, Konami's best edition. My God, what a name. Don't get me wrong now, the initial box art is actually pretty solid. You got Soma Cruz reaching out towards you to give you a little depth and dimension, and the cast of characters is well balanced and spread out across the cover. The logo doesn't distract too much from what's happening here, and the background has this nice, foreboding feeling to it, with the silhouette of the castle and the big bright moon. So what's the best way to show off this fantastic box art in a re-release, you ask? Man, let's just slap the entire box on the cover, no one gives a shit. There are better ways to do a greatest hits style of box art. I mean, yeah, it's usually annoying because they change the color of the side label or they just slap a big old sticker on it or something, but my god, at least it's better than this. This box art just has me confused because someone at Konami had to approve this. Somebody saw this and they decided to say,
Oh my god, dude! We have to print this.
and if that wasn't bad enough, it's not even like they made up for it with the rest of the elements on the cover either. If I didn't know any better, I'd probably think this was a rated M game made by Namco on the Switch. Oh wait, and thank God you stuck play it on the top of the box because I didn't know if I was allowed to play this or not, so I was just staring at it. Nintendo 64 box art is pretty notorious for not exactly being the nicest thing to look at. This is due to the fact that the 5th generation of consoles is when like polygonal 3D graphics were now realized and they're now in the mainstream and everyone wanted to show off how good their 3D models looked. It's kind of funny how obvious this is because every single box art from this era, with a few great exceptions of course, is just a giant CG model because now we got damn good graphics. But there is one legendarily bad box art that made the entire world collectively groan whenever they first saw it. And it's Paperboy for the Nintendo 64. This thing perfectly embodies everything that was wrong with that era. A giant logo, ugly CG models, Midway. Whoever designed this had no idea what the concept of negative space even meant. It's like they thought that literally every corner of the box had to have something shoved on it so it never gives your eyes time to rest. I mean, look at this. You got a gross slobbery dog here. You got Dr. Wily after he stopped using Bosley. And then you got an erupting volcano in the back. I understand they're trying to convey the message of complete and total chaos, but still, it doesn't make this good to look at. Let's compare it to the original Paperboy for the NES. Simple, clean, beautiful, effective. Mwah. There's no clutter. There's no nonsense. It's just a boy, and he got paper. Paperboy on the NES also got the color of his clothes right, too. He's got a blue shirt here. He got a blue shirt there. This does not.
Now, yeah, I'm sure this isn't the first time there's been some misrepresentation of a character on some box art or like a movie poster or something, but I do not forgive these childish mistakes.
Batman Arkham City Game of the Year edition. Talk about self-esteem issues. I don't even like whenever I see one quote on the cover of something that's telling me why I should buy it, let alone 4. Now I know what you're probably saying to yourself. Well, come on, Jacob, this is an easy one. Of course you included that on there. And to that I would have to say, yeah. Now, we joke about marketing departments or executives getting too involved in projects, but man, this one takes the cake. You can basically just feel the fear behind this box art, because I'm assuming the reason that this was put out was that the higher-ups at Warner Brothers were just terrified that this game would only sell a measly 5 million copies instead of the 6 million that it ended up selling. The amount of logos and visual clutter on this thing is kind of impressive, to be honest. Not only did they manage to get 4 just obtrusive quotes on here, but they also managed to stick the logo on there twice. Hold up, guys. I don't think they're gonna know this is a Batman game. Can you duplicate the logo layer and apply a gradient mask to it and then place it behind 10 out of 10, thanks? And I guess they also thought this cover just didn't have enough on it at this point, so they decided to shove the DLC notice just way over here on the right-hand side in the, might I say, aggressively large 6-point font. I mean, what were you thinking, guys? You could use that space for another quote. So back in the early 2000s, there was this little European game company that started up and they went by the name of Phoenix Games. Now these guys were notorious for just churning out these horrific Disney game knockoffs, which were basically just crappy minigame collections, and they had some animated shorts. I mean, if you want to call it that.
What are you doing there?
I smell something. Do you have a new foot deodorant?
Oh, can you smell it? Smells cool, hey? Camembert Chanel.
No, it doesn't smell like camembert. What I smell is something rather cheap at the most Limburger 3711.
Basically what I'm saying is, these were bootlegs, and the box art sucked. Peter Pan, Snow White and the 7 Clever Boys, Adventures of Pinocchio. The Adventures of Pinocchio! I can't believe what my eyes are looking at. These are officially licensed video games that you can purchase with actual money from an actual store to play on your actual PlayStation 2. How did this happen? Now listen, I know I said I'd stick to games that people know about, but I just can't act like these games don't exist, cause damn! Somebody at this company looked at this box art and decided that this was okay for children to see. I thought that Paperboy was bad, but compared to this, That looks like it should be hung up in an art gallery in New York, winning awards for being ahead of its time. All of these box arts generally feature a large, horribly rendered piece of CGI next to an offensively bad logo that looks like a baby found the effects panel in Photoshop and just went crazy. Is that supposed to be Jiminy Cricket? Please tell me that's not supposed to be Jiminy Cricket. And Simba, what have they done to you? The Legend of Hercules? I cannot unsee that. I have never seen a piece of artwork be so aggressively era specific. Like whenever you look at these, you know exactly what time period they are from due to the visuals, the placement of the elements, the text they use. It's just so bad. I unfortunately will never be able to get the image of that out of my head, no matter how many nights I sleep, and no matter how hard I try. But at least it's not Doom 2016's.
But hey, what can I say? Sometimes people are just gonna want to stick some horrible, horrific nightmare feel on their box art, and there ain't nothing I can say to stop them. Now, on another note, the mailman decided to rudely interrupt me whenever I was recording this video for you guys, and he ended up giving me this. Could be some fan mail.